Hi folks, Nick here from the Main Street Talk podcast. Are you thinking about your next Disney vacation? I can help you plan that vacation at no extra cost to you. As a travel genie at Genie Travel Company, I keep an eye out for the latest and best Disney promotions and then apply them so you get the most value for your vacation. Contact me at nick.garcia@genietravelco.com. And if you enjoy our podcast, please give us a rating in your player. Enjoy this week's show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Main Street Talk podcast, your go-to podcast for all things Walt Disney World related, all the news and updates and tips and tricks. I am your host, Nick, and with me, as always, is Joni.
Hello, everyone.
So we have our March Madness final.
Okay.
All the votes are in. Everything's been tallied. This was for the final, for the championship, was Tron Light Cycle Run versus Pirates of the Caribbean.
Drum roll.
The winner is Tron.
Tron.
61% to 39%.
What a blowout. Okay, so when
and
I asked you...
it was tight, yeah, and I put something on Facebook the other day. It was tight, and then some votes came in, and Tron edged out.
Just pulled ahead. At the very beginning of this, I remember I said, I think I know who's going to win. And I had a gut feeling Tron was going to win. Oh, quit bragging.
I did.
Quit bragging.
I'm not bragging. I'm just
slow
saying
your roll there,
it's
kid.
a very popular
slow
ride.
Your roll.
I wouldn't have picked it for the best ride in Magic Kingdom, but that's why we vote. So, yeah.
Good.
And in the real March Madness, unfortunately, my team got beat last night.
Mm-hmm.
I am an Iowa Hawkeyes fan because we live in Northwest Illinois. And it was Iowa-Illinois, ironically.
Mm-hmm.
And Iowa lost. Iowa fell apart in the llast 3 minutes. So congratulations to Illinois going on to the Final Four, the first time in 21 years, I think.
Yeah, well, both of them had,
Yeah,
it was
Iowa
a long
was
time for both of them.
40-some years, so yeah. All right, well, that was a lot of fun. I think we might do that at another park
Try
sometime,
to do something similar.
maybe over the summer. That was a lot of fun, and people seem to enjoy it. That was a good turnout in the voting. All right, well, let's get on to the news.
Okay.
Before we get to park news, something came across today. Today is March 29th, so everything is current as of today. Something came across today I wanted to talk about, actually kind of recently. There have been reports that cast members are checking for proof of guest status prior to boarding the Walt Disney World buses. Reportedly, this happened at Disney Springs. They are scanning magic bands prior to boarding before they go to the resorts. Somebody said this happened to them, and several other people said it has been happening, and the cast members are saying this is temporary due to the Easter crowds.
Yeah.
They don't want people parking at Disney Springs that are just parking there to use transportation to go resort hopping, because it is busy right now during spring break and Easter, and parking is a problem at Disney Springs when it's this crowded. So if you are going to Disney World this week or in the near future, keep that in mind that they are scanning bands
just to make sure that the Disney Springs guests are not
right.
So they'll just have to catch their Ubers or taxis or... Well,
you can't Uber to the resorts unless you have a dining reservation. So if you want to resort hop, it's not going to happen from Disney Springs. So, get creative. There's other ways around it. But yeah. But anyway, I just wanted to let that know in case people had trips coming up.
Yeah.
All right, on to Magic Kingdom.
Okay.
Disney's Adventure Friends Cavalcade is shifting to morning show times at Magic Kingdom beginning April 6th, moving from its current evening slots to earlier in the day. The cavalcade will run at 10:30 a.m. and 11:45 a.m. starting April 6th, replacing the 5:10 p.m. and 6:25 p.m. performances, with Festival of Fantasy also moving to a single 3 p.m. performance on April 6th. So if you're visiting in April or early May, it's going to look like this. The Disney Adventure Friends Cavalcade at 10:30 a.m. and 11:45 a.m. Festival of Fantasy at 3 p.m. And over at Big Thunder Mountain, a new sign has been spotted out for the attraction. It's not really sure if it's new or not. Some people are saying it looks just like the refurbished old sign. But in any case, it's either a brand new sign or a refurbished sign, so that is coming along. And Walt Disney World is casting inline skaters for Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas Time parade, confirming that the holiday parade will return for the Very Merry Christmas Party at Magic Kingdom. And over at EPCOT, there's a question: is there more than just a new adventure coming to Soarin' at EPCOT? Walt Disney Imagineering filed a permit for set elements, in quotations, on March 24th for Soarin' Around the World. The attraction will be closed for a brief refurbishment to make way for Soarin' Across America, and they also did a file permit for the set element, so that is very interesting. And the upcoming Disney After Hours event at EPCOT on April 2nd is sold out. So if you had plans on going to the After Hours on April 2nd, unfortunately that is sold out. Over at Hollywood Studios, Walt Disney Imagineering filed a new permit to install set elements at the Disney Junior Theater and Animation Courtyard. The theater is currently closed, but will reopen with a new Mickey Mouse Clubhouse show this summer. And crews began installing scaffolding around the Gonzo's Royal Flush Water Tower at Hollywood Studios. This was on Wednesday morning, March 25th. And we all know that that whole area is being rethemed to Monstropolis, Monsters, Inc. So the water tower, I didn't say what they're doing to it, but they're scaffolding around it. So I don't know if they're just going to repaint it or what they're going to do to it. Over at Animal Kingdom, Imagineering filed a permit for more set elements to be installed at the new Encanto attraction. So that's exciting. Also at the new area, Tropical Americas, crews have constructed tall scaffolding structure around the next site of the future carousel. So that's going in place of where Triceratops Spin was, or the new carousel style ride. That's it. That's all I have for park news.
All right.
Miscellaneous. This was shocking. I think this even shocked Wall Street. Just 3 months after announcing a 3-year partnership with Disney, OpenAI is now discontinuing its Sora AI video platform. This was big news. Disney signed a $1 billion contract with them to allow Sora, owned by OpenAI, to let them use some of Disney's IP in their AI video platforms. There was no reason why they discontinued it. They said thank you to everybody that was working on it and all that, but it is no longer. So that was a big investment for Disney to do that. So I had a thought. Okay. I know Josh tomorrow is listening to this. So Josh, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you, Josh. You take that $1 billion that you put into Sora and you put it back into Magical Express. Get us all on buses to get from the airport to the hotels.
You've been wishing for that for a long time.
Josh, I'm telling you. And in an announcement on March 24th, the Walt Disney Company said that the Disney Conservation Fund has approved grants to 25 organizations across 16 countries. Some of the granted organizations include Save the Elephants, Bat Conservation.
Your favorite.
Bat Conservation International. Yeah, I love bats. The Ocean First Institute, Monarch Joint Venture, Poisito Titi, I'm not sure what that is, and the Wildlife Conservation Network. And this is pretty cool. To promote this summer's offering, Walt Disney World is launching 2 Cool Kids Summer pop-up events. The idea is to bring the event to places outside Florida to entice families to visit during the Cool Kids Summer. The events will feature oversized props, photo ops, and giveaways. So this is going to take place in Atlanta, Georgia on March 26th at Pemberton Place, downtown Atlanta. Thursday, March 26th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., and the cost is free and open to the public. So that's Atlanta on March 26th, and then Houston, Texas on April 2nd at the Herman Park Lake Plaza in Houston. Again, that's Thursday, April 2nd, 11 to 3, and the cost is free and open to the public. So that's pretty cool. If you're in Houston and Atlanta, you can go see some Disney pop-up events for Cool Kids Summer.
Yeah.
I would head to that if it was coming to my town.
Sure would.
And Michael James Scott, the longest-running genie in Aladdin on Broadway, has announced his final performance as the iconic character. Scott, who is an original cast member in the show, will play his final performance at the New Amsterdam Theater on May 3rd. His replacement has not yet been announced. That's it. That's what I got for news.
All right, cool.
Pop-up events. If you're in Atlanta and Houston, I want to repeat that. Atlanta, March 26th, Pemberton Place. Houston, April 2nd, Herman Park Lake Plaza. So, pretty cool. Free event. You don't get Disney and free a lot, but there you go.
Cool.
All right. That's what I got. Let's go on to Spotlight on Attraction. What do we got today,
Okay, Joni? We are going to visit a couple of things still over here in the aquarium. I was going to talk about all of the Disney animals, but I broke it down a little bit because I think that each one is important in itself. So we are going to combine the coral reefs and the reef fish today. So as I said, in the aquarium area of EPCOT, The nursery module for the reef fish and the corals is on level 2. There's an elevator.
Mm-hmm.
So level 2 is where you can observe coral growing, which happens in specialized tanks, so they can transplant those into the into the aquarium. So let's start with the Disney animals, the coral reefs. Discover the colorful undersea world of coral reefs, which covers less than 1% of the ocean floor, but are home to 25% of all ocean species. And then let's drop down here to the reef fish. Discover a dazzling variety of fish that just keep swimming amid our colorful coral reefs. So as I said, there's an elevator. There's different things happening on floor 1, floor 2, but both of the reefs and the fish opened in Walt Disney World in Florida in January 15, 1986. The coral reefs are so rich in life that scientists call them the rainforests of the seas. And coral are tiny animals called polyps that are related to sea anemones and jellyfish. The polyp uses minerals in the water to create a hard exoskeleton to support and protect its body. Living coral reefs are diverse ecosystems built by large colonies of tiny coral polyps. Coral reefs not only support a vast array of marine organisms, but they also help provide natural protective barriers that guard against coastal erosion. The Walt Disney Company Conservation Fund helps fight against threats to the coral reefs, with the main threat being directly or indirectly is caused by greenhouse gas emissions and climate changes. So that's what I have for the coral reefs. Now we're going to jump into the reef fish. On level 1, you can look for clownfish, yellow tang, regal blue tang, and cleaner shrimp. You can also see hermit crabs, other types of shrimp, and butterfly fish as well. On level 2, you can visit the Explorers Club to see giant clams and sea stars. Reef fish in the wild live in coral reef structures that tend to be located in shallow coastal, tropical, and subtropical waters. Coral reefs and reef fish are incredibly important ecosystems that are home to, as I said previously, almost 25% of marine life. When I went snorkeling, when we were on vacation, I just had to be very careful, and my instructor, as everyone who's snorkeled or scubaed or has ocean experience, but this was my first time, you kind of want to lay horizontal as much as possible, because if you try to step or support yourself, you're actually stepping on life. Creatures. Yes. So they said just try to stay as, leveled out.
Right. Don't touch, don't stop, don't stand.
That's right.
I was in the boat. I don't do the ocean.
Yeah, that's right. Coral reefs and reef fish are so intricately interconnected that the disappearance of a single species of fish can throw the entire reef ecosystem out of balance. The Walt Disney Company is passionately committed to the protection of reef fish and their coral homes. Through the Conservation Fund, Disney helps to reduce these threats to the reef fish, and they help preserve the reefs during their research, restoration, and then their replanting, which, we see the little ones in the tanks that they're rehabbing for, but I'm sure they've got larger ones elsewhere.
I'm sure
that they go out. And I did read, I didn't put this in here because it wasn't dealing with Walt Disney World specifically, but the long-nosed eel.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, urchin. Is that an eel? Is an urchin and eel the same thing? Okay, so
urchin,
anyway,
I'm not sure it's an eel
in the Bahamas area, those coral reefs are high risk for extinction because the urchin population is decreased, and so the corals are prone to having a lot of algae on them, which blocks them from getting sunlight to help them grow.
And the urchin was eating the algae.
And an urchin actually comes in, they eat the algae, so that's why they're in shallow waters, because they need the sunlight to help grow. So
all animals are important.
Yeah, that's right. Some of them look creepier than others, but so do we humans. Some of us look creepier than others. So anyway, that's what I have that's going to take care of our coral reefs and reef fish under the Disney Animals section.
Okay. Thanks, Joni.
Yeah, you bet.
On to This Week in Disney History. April 2nd, 1940. To fund the massive expansion of the Burbank Studios, Walt Disney Production issued its very first stock to the public at $25 a share. March 29th, 1951, Disney's True Life Adventure short In Beaver Valley wins an Oscar for Best Short Subject, proving Walt's nature documentaries were a hit, even with the critics. March 29th, 1963, the live-action film Miracle of the White Stallions premieres, telling the daring true story of saving the Lipizan horses during World War II. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I think we should. Well, we'll watch it when
What's a Lipizan horse?
I don't know what a Lipizan horse is, but I would. That's something I would want to watch.
What was the name of that movie?
Miracle of the White Stallions.
Can I have a year, please?
1963. April 4th, 1990, the Rock and Roll Beach Club opens at Pleasure Island in Walt Disney World. It was a high-energy dance spot until its closure in 2008 to make way for Disney Springs. That was in downtown Disney, when it used to be downtown Disney. March 29th, 1993, at the 65th Academy Awards, A Whole New World from Aladdin wins Best Original Song. That is, I've told you this before, that is my favorite Disney song. I don't know why. It just is. And I wasn't even like that big of an Aladdin fan.
If anyone could see us right now, I'm just looking at you like, what?
Yeah.
But I knew that.
April 1st, 1995, Disney's Blizzard Beach Water Park officially opens at Walt Disney World, featuring the 12-story drop of Summit Plummet.
Yeah. No, thank you for me.
No, maybe 20 years ago, but
yeah.
no.
Well, didn't you do it?
No, I don't.
Which one did you do? And you were like,
no, we went to Typhoon Lagoon.
Oh,
I can't remember
yeah,
the name of that one, but my back was hurting. I remember. Not really. It was hurting from rubbing on the friction from the slide is what it was hurting from. It was burning.
I watched from below.
Yeah,
Ain't no way.
I wish I would have watched.
I watched this guy on social media who does videos, and I don't know his name, but he always says, there ain't no way. That's why I'm like, there ain't no way. No way I'm getting up there.
April 3rd, 2001, to help handle the growing crowds at Walt Disney World, the massive interchange between Osceola Parkway and Interstate 4 opens. It was a major $33 million infrastructure project. March 29th, 2002, the baseball classic The Rookie, starring Dennis Quaid, hit theaters. April 4th, 2009, Playhouse Disney Live on Stage makes its debut at Walt Disney Studios Parks in Paris, bringing characters like Mickey and Handy Manny to international audiences. And on March 29, 2023, The Mandalorian continues its cultural reign as Chapter 21, The Pirate, premieres on Disney+. I don't know much about Mandalorian, but that must have been a pretty big episode because they mentioned it. That's all I got this week in Disney history.
Okay.
All right, let's go on to our movie of the week.
Okay, well, another documentary. Today's film is the 1954 Vanishing Prairie. Was first released in August 17th, 1954 to the U.S. Runtime is 71 minutes. Budget was approximately just over $382,000. Very successful, I think more than they had anticipated, pulling in $1.75 million in U.S. and Canadian rentals. Directed by James Alger, written by James Alger and Winston Hibler, produced by Ben Sharpstein and Walt Disney, cinematography by Paul Kenworthy, no S, and music by Paul J. Smith. So this was a pioneering nature documentary that captures the wildlife of the American grasslands using innovative close-up photography. It follows animals like bison, prairie dogs, and the bighorn sheep through the changing seasons. It features rare footage of a bison giving birth, which I thought was quite fascinating. I guess there was some controversy about having that in there.
They didn't hold back. I mean, they showed the birth.
They showed it all. And it's rare footage. Like, who else has the footage of a bison giving birth? I mean, come on. Especially at this time, anyway.
Right.
In the struggle of the species like the whooping crane, it also raises early awareness and emphasizes the struggles for survival amid the encroachment of human civilization, which has been happening for a long, long time. We just feel like we own everything. A 43-piece orchestra recorded the film's music over several months. A team of 12 to 18 photographers spent years capturing footage that spanned from the Gulf of Mexico to the plains of Canada. And to get close-up pictures of the animals without startling them, cameramen even went as far as disguising themselves, and they were not above wearing bison hides and intermixing in the herds. Like, I would be scared out of my mind.
Right.
Those are some big animals to be
Yeah.
just. And how do you make yourself so big? Like, there's the runt. I mean, come on, they're massive.
The only thing I have in my mind right now is Ace Ventura when he's in that side of that rhino.
Oh no!
And he has to get out of it.
This is supposed to be suitable for children.
It's fine.
Okay.
It's Ace Ventura.
Yeah, that's true. So when I read that, I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. So primary filming locations include Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming for significant portions of the wildlife footage. Wind Cave National Park in South Dakota gave additional prairie and wildlife scenes. The University of Wisconsin, the Madison Arboretum in Wisconsin, is the site for the famous prairie fire sequence that they had.
Yeah.
And it was actually a controlled berm that was filmed. And then later they spliced in the footage of the buffalo herd because they are very easily startled.
Yeah.
And once they get going, like, what was it? Was it lightning coming or like a roll of thunder or something?
Yeah.
And then it was off and running. There were hundreds and hundreds of them. Yeah. Nebraska landmarks were also used, such as Chimney Rock and Scotts Bluff. They appear early in the film to establish the setting. In Minnesota, a second unit crew was dispatched to specifically stage a sequence of duck landing on a frozen lake, and macro photography of an ant colony was filmed in a California backyard using specialized equipment.
Oh, wow.
So they literally were all over the place.
All over, yeah.
And I have to say, I was cracking up when we were watching these birds come in for their landing.
On the water.
And, you know, the early arrivals for the season, and they are just like, it looks like bowling pins. They're trying to land. And we had our 4-year-old granddaughter over, and she was watching it, and she was belly laughing.
So hard.
It was so comical. And then, of course, the latecomers come and, you know, they just glide right in the water. But, oh my gosh, if you guys haven't seen it, at least go watch that part. It's hysterical.
And bring your kid, because our granddaughter, like Joni said, she was laughing hysterically.
I even rewound it so we could rewatch it. And the laugh was just as intense the second time around. So very fun. So that's what I have for that. It is the 1954, The Vanishing Prairie.
Okay. Thanks, Joni.
Next, we have 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Yep.
And we are both very excited for this one.
I have not seen that movie in probably, I think I watched it in grade school. I think we had to watch it before we read it or after we read it or something. I don't remember, but we did watch it in school. I remember that. So,
well, that's next. And then we got Davy Crockett following that up.
See, too good. I'm excited for both of them. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Joni.
Yeah, you bet.
Tip or trick of the week. It's visit the same spot day or night for different vibes. I'm going to go a step further. I'm going to say ride a ride during the day and ride it at night. Now, there's some rides that are just obvious, like Tron. I mean, Tron at night is absolutely breathtaking, you know, launching through that blue light in the dark. Mm-hmm. But one that I thought, and we even talked about it at the time, I thought I would not enjoy as much at night was Slinky Dog. Because I remember we went to Jollywood Nights and we went right to Slinky Dog. That was our first ride we did, I believe, or maybe it was the second ride, whatever. But it was dark out. But the reason we wanted to do it, we just wanted to get it out of the way and do other things. But it was night, and that ride I thought was much better at night. You would not think Slinky Dog would be much better, but it is.
I think that whole area.
The whole area.
Well, I don't know, because Pandora's pretty awesome at night. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I love Disney at night.
Yeah.
I absolutely love Disney at night.
Obviously, the indoors rides don't matter, but even another one comes to mind is Tower of Terror. I love Tower of Terror at night because, you know, when those doors open, you can see out and everything's lit up.
That's true.
Yeah, that's another good one at night.
Well, and then riding the Yeti.
Oh, Everest at night is another good one.
And because the moon, I mean, what times we've been on it, the moon is right, and it just...
Yep, going up the hill.
It's kind of eerie. I mean, it's eerie, suspenseful, like you know what's going to happen, but it's just a completely different vibe.
Yep. So, yeah.
You guys know. If you know, you know.
Try a ride during the day and at night. Like I said, I did not expect that from Slinky, but I think I told you, I was like, I think we should ride this at night every time we ride it.
I just absolutely love Disney at night when all the lights are on, and I think it's beautiful.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week's show. You can visit our website, mainstreettalkpod.com. The Facebook page is Main Street Talk. Facebook group is Disney World Tips and Tricks. Instagram is Main Street Talk Podcast. You can find us on YouTube, just audio only, no video. Contact me for travel, nick.garcia@genietravelco.com. And like I said, I am booking all major cruise lines now, not just all Disney stuff. And if you want to bring the theme park scents home with you, we have a link to the Magic Candle Company on our website, as we are affiliates. Use the code Main Street Talk at checkout for 15% off. We will be back next week with more news, tips, and tricks, and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I'm very excited about.
Yes, let's go watch it.
We should. So we will talk to you guys real soon.
Bye, everyone.